If you're an indie developer, it's more than likely you've asked yourself, what platforms do I need to be on that are the biggest bang for my buck to get my game in front of as many eyeballs as humanly possible in this crowded sea of games out nowadays? Well, stick around, because in this video, we're actually going to be breaking down a recent study that just came out that showcases what platforms you need to be on and what platforms gamers are actually utilizing to discover new games to play. This is juicy content right here that's coming straight for gamers. You don't want to miss out on this information. So let's get into it. So before we spend time breaking down this study, this is very impromptu. As you can see, there's no fancy visuals or lights on or anything in this video because I felt spontaneous to create this video because I was spending some time on LinkedIn. And shout out to James K, apparently of this CEO, I believe he is, of Big Games Machine, that released this study where Big Games Machine actually polled over 1,000 different gamers to ask them directly, how do you discover new titles to play? So without further ado, let's break down this graphic, and I'll be sure to put it on the screen for you guys. Very first thing that I noticed while breaking down this study was what was the top platform that gamers use to discover new games. And that platform was none other than, that's it, you guessed it, it's YouTube. YouTube is the number one platform by far amongst all the social media platforms, of all the advertising methods, out of all the influencer marketing, everything that is done currently that is popular in today's gaming industry to market video games. YouTube is dominant by far, with over 64% of everybody that was polled for this saying that they discover new games to play via YouTube. And this actually goes back to what I said well over a year ago. I said over the next 5 years, YouTube's organic growth is going to be humongous, and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So to all my indie devs that have subscribed to my channel, that watch my videos, even if it's just been one video, I'm telling you, do not miss this momentum, because we're already 1 year into that 5-year cycle that marketers within YouTube are already sharing their projections. They're seeing the organic growth with this platform, and they're saying content creators have to get on board. They have to start taking YouTube seriously, because a lot of individuals aren't even following the big time multi-millionaire subscriber channels. They're going over the smaller content creators because they seem more trustworthy. So now is the chance. If you're a young, budget conscious game developer, maybe you're developing your first title, maybe you're developing your 5th title, whatever, and you're just struggling to gain momentum, YouTube is the greatest form of free advertising that you can possibly get into nowadays. It literally takes no time. You don't need any fancy equipment. You just got to document your journey and showcase what you're creating online. I've given plenty of examples on this YouTube channel of different content creators that are fully taking advantage of the YouTube machine and the algorithm, and they are selling their indie games. Y'all, look at the creator of Choo Choo Charles. Look at what has happened with the game developer of Anomaly Agent. They all used YouTube as their primary form of advertising. Yes, it takes time to build up these platforms, but at some point you got to start somewhere, so it's okay. But you guys don't want to miss this golden opportunity. Now, we have to remember, when they're on YouTube, this could mean multiple things. It doesn't mean that gamers are finding new games via straight the developer's YouTube channel. It doesn't mean like that. It could be one of the summer showcase events, the Games Fest, Game Awards, anything that streams off of YouTube. This could be for the YouTube content creators. This could be where you spend some of your time doing influencer marketing because the influencers are on YouTube. But regardless, YouTube is the spot. So you need to make sure when you break down your game plan of what platforms you're going to advertise on, YouTube is the top dog. But then you have to ask yourself, all right, what influencers can you contact that have respectable size channels? Can you get into one of these summer game showcases, whether it's Xbox, ID at Xbox, one of these indie developer directs, Nintendo directs, Summer Games Fest, the Game Awards? Like, what showcase that streams via YouTube can you get on to showcase your game, because that's how a lot of games are getting discovered nowadays. Look at Expedition 33. I discovered that game because of it being showcased in the Developer Direct back in January of 2025 for Xbox. So I would have never known about that title if I wasn't tuning into the Developer Direct, and that's where gamers are finding most of their information nowadays. Now, moving on to the next one. By a very far margin, YouTube is king, but right now, second place technically goes to TikTok. So this, once again, correlates with everything that I've been saying for the past year and a half. But TikTok is still, it's nothing to snooze at. There's been plenty of examples of indie titles that have popped off. They've gone viral with their content via TikTok, and then that's when they see their Steam wish list go up, and they end up converting into overall sales. So TikTok is number 2 at 38%. Now, this one was a surprising one. Instagram came in at number 3, just below TikTok. So it was a race at 36% compared to TikTok's 38%. So Instagram might still be a realistic, viable platform for a lot of indie devs, yourself included, to get on if you're not focusing on Instagram. So I don't know. That's some food for thought. For most game studios, I'll be perfectly honest, most game studios that I've done consulting at, Instagram is just not on my radar. Typically, it's always YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, something like that. X if you already have a pre-existing following. But anyways, moving on. Instagram was number 3 at 36%. And real quick. Let's not forget that, just for the sake of transparency, always being honest with my viewers of this platform, this study was conducted by, it was just, I say just loosely, but just 1,000 gamers were polled for this study. So I don't know if this marketing agency, the Big Games Machine, tried to find more and they just couldn't, or they just capped it off at 1,000. But there is, I would say there's more studies that should be done to confirm these suspicions, since this, in the world of testing and analytics and polling, 1,000 votes or 1,000 people surveyed, it technically is not a lot when it comes to this particular industry, when it comes to surveying and data analytics and things like that. So I would say let's study a lot more over the coming years, but if I was a gambling man, which I'm not, but if I was, I would say this suspicion and these statistics are right on par with everything that I've been seeing with the companies that I work with, and my suspicions and, my history in marketing and studying analytics and things like that. So I really don't, while looking at this survey, I never really looked at it and went, I don't know about that. If it was anything other than YouTube and TikTok as 1 and 2, I would probably look to the study with like a little bit of a side eye. But just for the sake of transparency, I always want to be upfront and honest. There was only 1,000 gamers polled for this. We don't know the ages, we don't know the genders, we don't know the locations, we don't know any data because this agency didn't release it. But just for the sake of communication and revealing everything that I know to you guys, so you guys can prepare yourself for the future, hey, this is important information that shouldn't be overlooked. So there you have it. There's the complete breakdown of this study that was done by, once again, Big Games Machine. Shout out to them for performing this study. Shout out to James K. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, that provided this study for us on LinkedIn. So thank you to James. I'll be sure to link this complete study in the description below so you guys can view it for yourselves, study it, save the graphic. Shout out to James, like his post, share it, get this thing discovered by more people, because it's just absolutely, I don't know, this one, I don't know, a few of them caught me by surprise, like the Instagram, Facebook ones, and then how low percentage live shows and events got. That one was kind of surprising. But the YouTube, the TikTok, that honestly wasn't surprising. The biggest shocker was just how far ahead YouTube was by every other platform. So if there's only one platform you guys can be on, more than likely it is YouTube. So I would stop snoozing on that. But anyway, I'll drop this in the description. I'm gonna go attend to my kids because they're screaming in the background. It's officially summer vacation, so there's no more school. So I have to go attend to them. I just wanted to produce this video and get it out to you guys as quickly as possible so you guys can utilize this today. So I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.